All right, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a great guest on today. We have Mr. Austin Sterpka, aka Dr. Sterp. He is a self-taught visual artist who specializes in album artwork, vinyl packaging, brand direction, video editing, custom collages, and a lot more. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Vinyl Stallions. But Austin, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you guys having me on. How's everybody doing?
Cannot complain up here in Cleveland. We just had a downpour of a thunderstorm, but it was much needed.
Yeah, I heard it's been hot up there recently too.
Oh, and like sticky, humid. It's like complete opposite. So you're posted up in LA, California, correct?
Yeah, I'm in LA, but like I live in this little beach town called Playa del Rey.
Okay. 70
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
Damn.
At the 70s.
Do you
This weekend was hot, but
do you lose appreciation for it, or just because you're from Ohio, you know what it is like, you take it in?
I don't know. I think at first I was very like, man, like, why the fuck would anyone want to live back in Ohio? Like, the weather sucks. And then like I've gotten, after like 5 years, I'm like, I do miss like the change of seasons and some of that stuff. But like, I'll be honest, like the weather every day here is like, it's beautiful. It's never
It's fucking no, I'm jealous. My brother's out there and it's always an excuse to get out there. So you're doing it right. Clep, what's up, man? How you living?
Well, weather's pretty much the same in Toledo as it is in Cleveland. Rainy, much needed, super hot. Doing great though.
Love to hear it. All right, so Austin, so as I said, you specify yourself as a self-taught visual artist, and for the people out there, he has done the Deadlicks new album In Disguise, their album cover, and we've had the Deadlicks boys on before. They are
Great album.
fucking incredible guys. And then we just did a review as well. Our second live review was of Lavender Days, the new Caamp album, which Austin did that cover for as well. But Austin, man, take us back. So how'd you get into like wanting to not just do visual art, but specialize in the whole collaging aspect of it?
The collage stuff didn't come till I was out in LA. I really kind of like started with just graphic design stuff, just to figure out how to use Photoshop and stuff like that. And I started to do these things. I used to just call them photo manipulations. So I'd get like a Adobe stock image account or something like that, download like 20, 30 photos and just try to like make things. I didn't really understand that as like collage at the time, because I always understood collage as like a physical medium. And a friend of mine, I've always kind of like done videos and photos and stuff like that. And when I first moved out here, I had contacted this guy on Twitter and I asked him to shoot, because I had just gotten a Super 8 camera. So I asked this guy how to like, if I could like come shoot his art show. He was doing one of his first art shows in LA. His name's Dewey Saunders. And if you've heard, like, do you guys know Anderson .Paak?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So he did the Venice and the Malibu covers and all the packaging and stuff like that.
Okay.
I shot some stuff for one of his shows, his like personal art shows. And that was the first time I'd really seen collage like that. And so he was just like kind of teaching me about it a little bit. And then one of the days it was like a 3-day show. The last day was like he was like teaching people how to like, make collages and stuff like that. And that kind of blew my mind. And I just like kind of been just messing with it ever since, and buying magazines and literature, and just like kind of opened my eyes to just like a different kind of artwork, That's kind of how it all started.
So I want to touch on something you just mentioned. You say you buy like the textbooks and like literature art and stuff, and like magazines. So I mean, just in general, that was going to be my question. Like, do you like seek out specific, I don't know, forms of anything, or you're just like, oh, that seems like it would be cool. Like, oh yeah. Tell us about that process.
It's changed a lot. Like it's really, at first it was just like buying anything and just trying to like, just cutting stuff out, getting familiar with X-Acto knives, and just like trying to put things together that I thought like looked right. And then it's kind of developed more until then it started to go into like Playboys and like more vintage things. And now it's more like, now I look at it more of like imagery styles. So like in my head, I understand like the different imagery styles between like the 20s, 30s, and 40s, from like the 50s and 60s, and then from like the 70s, 80s. Like I understand like if I want to make a specific piece that looks a specific way, I know kind of which eras to go in now. But that was all like just trial and error, just like buying magazines from people or just finding magazines people were throwing away and just like kind of going through it and putting things aside and just like sorting it that way. So now I have like, I still like will go to like thrift stores and try to find stuff like that. But I have a friend who lives in New York, and somebody she knows gave her like this storage room, and inside that storage room are like, it's like 50,000 Life magazines from like and Life magazine used to do like every week, I think all the way through like the 60s or 70s or something like that. So there's like thousands of these, and she has like them in the pristine condition and stuff like that. So like I'll hit her up and be like, I need 15 magazines from the 30s, and she'll go in and it's like find me ones, and I'll tell her what things I specifically need, like if I need like more like scenery things and stuff like that. But it's like developed over the last couple of years, like to be able to do that. There's a lot of like, I got a lot of unused collage pieces because I wasn't thinking about like imagery styles and stuff like that.
Damn, that's rowdy. That shout out to your friend. That like thousands of times, or you said Life magazines. I couldn't even imagine what those have in there.
That's an interesting collection.
Yeah, I have a pretty weird bookshelf in here that's just like ranges from all different types of stuff. But it's also good, like like coffee table books and stuff. Everybody likes old Playboys, so like they're cool to have around and study and stuff like that.
So Playboy, Life magazine, are there any other publications that you find yourself using a lot?
Playboy, Life, Time. I try to find a lot of like one-off gardening books. A lot of gardening books have like really good like flowers or greenery or stuff like that. I try to find, I've been ordering more like illustrated guides to things. So I just got this big book of like mushrooms. It's like an illustrated guide to mushrooms and fungi.
Nice.
Like
Okay.
it's like I have a weird like collection of just I stick to some brands, and then some of them I kind of like go off track and try to find some weird shit.
Hell yeah. And so you mentioned how you like cut them with the X-Acto knife. So like when I would first see your pieces, I would be like, wait a minute, like how is this being put together? And something that I really like that you do on your Instagram is like show all the pieces kind of like coming in.
Yeah.
I like that was fucking like, I think that's fucking incredible to see how those all come together. But so like explain the process. You just like take the X-Acto knives, like put it there, like cut it up however you want it.
Yeah. So I kind of like in my head, I kind of divide them into two like worlds, right? Like one are physical pieces and the ones are like digital pieces. So like those ones behind me, right, are like classic style, like cut with the X-Acto knife and then made physically right there and then, pasted down. And then the ones like that you'll see on Instagram that kind of come together. What I normally do now is I would sit and just cut everything, cut all the edges off and get piles of stuff. And then I'll sit like back there's a scanner. I'll just sit and I'll scan everything. A couple hours of just like doing that. So then when I like the ones that kind of come together are like, then I have them digitally. So then I can kind of pull those into Photoshop and then create pieces like that way. So like I think that the two different forms of like the physical and the digital are like fun to play with. I think the physical is the more challenging one because you can't manipulate size or take things, you can kind of cut around things and cover things up, but you're kind of limited with what you physically have. Whereas opposed to the digital thing is like, you can make anything, you can change size, you can use things in multiple people. That's why I started to like scan everything, even if I don't know if I'm going to use it, just in case I need like a coffee cup or something random.
Yeah.
So it kind of starts that way. It starts in a physical form, and then it goes to scanning, and then it goes to either back to physical or like, through Photoshop and that way.
Very cool. What was the first album that you did?
First album I did, I think the first album I did was the Sumbuck album, the first Sumbuck album. So Taylor from Camp's
Yes.
solo stuff, Sumbuck. I did that first album he did, which actually the photo that's on the album cover is from Stroud's.
Yeah.
That he took a while back. I think that was the first. It was either that or Officer of Love. I can't remember the time. I think it was Sumbuck.
And so how'd you meet Taylor and the Caamp crew?
So now there's 4 of them, right? One of them, the piano player, Joe.
Yeah.
I went to Ignatius with him. He's been my best friend since, I was like 15. So at OU, me and him were living together, and he would just like come back one day and be like, you got to meet these guys. Or, we just knew some of the guys that they were living with at the time. And then like, we just started hanging out. I think the first time I ever met Taylor we were just like grilling burgers in the backyard. It was like, just met him kind of that way. And then I got to know Ev because we used to go watch open mics at Casa. So like, that's how I met Ev. And then that's how I became familiar with Caamp. At the time, it was like they hadn't released the first album yet. So it was like, knew, the name Caamp and stuff, but like, it was just like open mics. And that was kind of like, we were just friends. It was really kind of how it started.
All right, so we talked about before, we're like, okay, we've heard each other's name. How do we know each other? So like, I guess I didn't put it together. You went to OU because I went to OU as well. Yeah. And so we must have crossed paths multiple times at those open mic nights. Like, dude, like I remember one homecoming, it was like back in that garage when they were playing.
Yeah.
Like, was that your house?
Yeah, it was my house. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Did you live with Lenny on that street right over, what street was that?
It was Oak Street, but no, I had the pleasure of, I lived like up on 75 West State, like farther up past that middle school. So I had the pleasure of like going down there, causing a scene, and then going to sleep in my bed. Yeah, it was a hike up the hill, but it was well worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we definitely have crossed paths before like that, especially if you remember that garage. But yeah.
Dude, I remember just that show because that was like they put out their album in what was it, like 2016 of like March, and I remember just like teeing off, like it would just be like late night hours at B. Lenny's place, and we just ripped those 8 songs over and over again. And then it was cool to like see them start like traveling as a duo out and about. And I feel like right at the end of our like 2017 years, like like when they paired up with Matt, and then like there's one picture I forget, I think it was Caamp or someone posted it, but they're at the Union and Taylor's like stage diving, and I'm just like right under him, like. So yeah, no, it's been fun to see that process of them going, man. It's great to hear that like they're rolling with you. I mean, that's huge to like get the cover of their new album, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I owe all that to them. I mean, like I didn't first, like I never at the time, I never wasn't really making art at that time, and like never thought of doing any sort of art for them, always just wanted to like be a fan and just, be a friend if they needed it. And just, and it was, and then they asked, really what happened was they asked me to do Common Man from the second album. They wanted me to do the single cover for that. And it didn't work out. There was, I had made some things, but then I'm pretty sure Taylor wanted a picture of his grandfather on that. So it was just kind of like a mutual, like they figured out what they wanted to do. And then it was Officer of Love was like the first one that they were like, let's try to do this one. And it's always just been like, like I said, I always, always just want to be a fan and nothing more. And it's like, it's, it's an honor to like work with my friends, but do some big stuff. And then the Lavender Days stuff, like I'm only one of 5 artists that worked on that cover. There's multiple people that did certain things for that cover too. So I'm not the only one. There's a couple other people that did that.
How does that work? So like if you said 5 different people working on it, what's that collaborative process like?
Yeah. So they have a creative director. Her name's Stephanie.
Okay.
She's like one of my favorite artists. I think she's really, really good at what she does. And she's been their creative director for the past couple of years. I think she did some of the boys stuff and then really did By and By and then this one. So Taylor came to her with this idea of what the cover would look like. There's a drawing that he did that's fairly similar to what the cover looks like now. And she kind of mapped it all out how we would do it, and then just handpicked people to do certain things for it. And so like, it was, I don't know if it was Taylor's idea or Stephanie's, but to do the embroidery. So the embroidery artist was one. The drawing of like the girl, and they did a couple other drawings too. That's Brothers Design. So that's 2. Joe Cavalack, who's in the band, he did paintings. So I wish we had photos of these. If you go to his house, he has like 6 of these square paintings that he did based on like what Stephanie said. She gave him like 6 different landscapes instead of just like paint these. So he painted them and then took photos of them and sent them to us. Then there was me, who was helping with collaging things. And then she was also designing too. So that's the 5. So then like for the actual imagery of things, we took Joe's paintings and I cut them all up like digitally. So like I took, I took the sky from one photo, a hill from one, flowers from a different one. And then we had everything kind of separately, and we just kind of like mixed and matched, and just, there's some other images too, like in that album cover, like the purple field is not a painting. That's a real photo. There's a little hut that's from something else. So it was like, that one's interesting to me because it's not like, it's collage, but to me it's more collage in the sense of like collaging paintings and the embroidery and like the illustration, collaging like all that stuff together. And we worked on that for a while. We had a lot of iterations of that, and different windows and bunch of different shit for that. But we ended up going with that drawing of the window, which I think works the best.
It is beautiful, man. It's just a perfect, like, I love that color purple that's on it. It's just,
yeah,
it's very bright and fits.
Too is when we started doing that, their manager, Adam, who's a great guy, he had said something that like, he was like, I want this to feel like timeless. And that kind of like made me think differently on like what to do with this. And I think the same thing for Stephanie too. It was like, and I think the more I look at it, like I feel like it's going to age so well. And it's just like, it's a beautiful, calming image, and it's simple, but it's not. And it's like, I'm really proud of that. I think that's a great piece. And that purple is like, I've noticed everybody wants to do purple stuff now. And I'm like, they started that,
We did it first.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So you mentioned Officer of Love earlier, and so that has the album cover, but then it has a whole video that goes along with it as well. That's like full of collages. Is that something you worked on yourself?
Yeah. So that's that. I don't know. Again, I don't know if that was Taylor's idea or if that was Stephanie's idea, but Stephanie has her husband is also creative. They're both freelance and they do like different things, but then they come together and they do certain things. So we made that cover art and everything like that. And then the idea was brought up to do a music video that was full on collage. And the crazy thing about that video for them is like, they don't do music videos. They're not into the idea of like doing a classic video of them standing and stuff like that. So it's like, that was a really interesting idea. So how it worked was I designed like all the scenes. And so Stephanie wrote out a treatment for what the video would look like. And then we broke it up into scenes. So we needed whatever it was, 12 or 10 or 12 scenes. And then I would make those, and I would make like little variations of stuff. And then like the more I would go, I'd be like, oh, it'd be cool if like this came in and then this, and like, and so it was kind of a collaborative process like that, where I gave Stephanie these fully designed collage scenes, and then they would go in and animate them and do all that. And I think it turned out pretty rad.
Nah, I dug that. It was very unique, and like you said, there's not really like many Caamp or if any other Caamp music videos out there. So yeah, man, that was really cool to see just all that in process. And
Nice.
Yeah, it blows my mind to, I don't know, just see that whole
It blew my mind too.
like,
I didn't know either. And when they said that, I was like, can we like actually do that? And then when showed me, one of Stephanie's husband showed me like a butterfly that like I gave him, and it's like it's a 2D flat version of a butterfly from the side. So I'm like, how would you make that animate? And he just like, I don't know how he does it, but like he showed me that, and I was like, whoa, this is
damn.
Yeah.
Next level shit, next level.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, you've touched, so he's done a bunch of different ones. Another one I saw you did recently was the Oliver Hazard is a band out of like the Cleveland area, kind of. It's like
Waterford or Waterville.
I just know this one kid I used to work with was like really, really into them when they started to get going. And but yeah, they just put out a single that 2x4, and I saw you did that cover for that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, thanks. I got a lot of love for those guys. Met those guys through Instagram. Just like mutual fans of each other's work. I thought their first album was really cool. And developed a relationship with Michael, like first the lead singer, and then we did. It was like the same process, honestly, as the Caamp thing. I did the single artwork for a song called Fly Right, and then they wanted to do a video, and so we did a collage video for that. Stephanie and I did that again. Same process, created an idea. They came with the idea, and then we just broke it down into scenes and did that. And then we took the artwork from that too, and then we made it into a beer can for them that they sold. That they do a festival every year in their hometown, so they sold that beer. It was
that's cool.
That was cool. I love those guys. I think they're gonna do really well. I love their music, and they're phenomenal.
Nah, they've been really blowing up, and I know they played a couple shows with Caamp. I don't know if that was last year.
That was cool. That was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. Like that was like a real full circle moment, because they knew of each other kind of, but like, and then like they asked Matt to open for one of their shows or something, and then they became friends, and then Caamp took them on tour, and then now Matt's going back and playing at their festival this summer, and it's like nice. It's a really cool full circle moment when you see stuff like that.
I mean, it's big to like keep it in like that circle, and like I mean the whole thing with artistry and everything is helping each other out. Like that's like no one gets there on their own. Everyone supports everyone, and so it's cool. I mean, shit, we mentioned the Deadlicks as well. Like, how'd you get in contact with those guys?
I knew Jack from high school.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Jack did say he went to Ignatius.
Yeah. He was a year younger than me, but he played basketball, and I played basketball too. So like that's how I really like got to know him. And then then some years passed, and started listening to their music, and they had released one album, and then I was just starting to freelance, so we started talking about like doing stuff together, and then that whole album was like a long, very, very long process.
Yeah, that's what they said. It was like 2 years of putting it together.
For them, I'm sure it was even longer recording it. and then the artwork process was like, I mean, we worked on that for like over a year. Had like so many different ideas, and like that one feels good because it's like that one's really fleshed out. Like we did so much shit for that it was like that's how that album's supposed to look.
Dude, I mean,
more purple.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That album kicks ass. Like we have a shuffle called the Stampede Shuffle, which is like, I don't know, we're over like 4K songs, clapping eyes, and we just put a bunch on and we'll just shuffle it. And whenever that Deadlicks album comes on, all my friends are like, who is this? And I'm like, the boys of Chicago.
When I heard Towers for the first time, I was like, whoa, this song's this song's fucking crazy. I like that album a lot.
Dude, it really is. I'm excited to see where those boys go. All right, so we'll move on from album covers, but this is one that we have to touch on as well, dude. The Lake Street Dive,
Sure.
Fun Machines, the sequel. I
You
honestly
guys
don't,
Bands?
no, dude. I don't know. I don't know this band that well. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Clap, what about you?
No, I've never heard of them either.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, man. I think I want to say they're from Boston.
Okay.
They've been around for, I think, since 04-ish. And have been just like steadily doing their thing for a while. And that came about through my friend Dewey, who I was telling you guys earlier about. He was doing a lot of like freelance stuff, album covers and stuff like that. And then he got hired to be a design director at a company. So he wasn't able to take on as much work. So he filtered that one to me. And you know, I've actually been a Lake Street Dive fan for a while, because when we were at OU, we used to have like, you know, drum set and shit in our house, and like, you know, Joe would always come over, Taylor would always come over and just like play shit, and they would play some Lake Street Dive. So that's kind of how I got into them. And so I've been listening to them kind of ever since. And then I got asked to do that and was like, absolutely. And so they came up with this idea. They wanted to do purple. And I was actually like, I can't. I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble if I do another purple cover. I was like, that's why it's blue. I was like, we can't do purple. That's my only thing. And they were like, all right. So they gave me this really interesting reference. Rube Goldberg, I think his name is an artist. And he does a lot of these illustrations that are like machines, but they're like long and like disconnected, and like it's really interesting artwork. And they sent me that, and they were like, we want to do something that's like kind of like this, kind of like machine related, but like fun. And so I had this idea. They sent me a bunch of photos, and so I had this idea of doing something similar. With there's a photo of them in like this big like phone booth. So I was gonna like cut the phone booth up and do all this stuff, and then didn't work out with that photo. So I had to kind of change ideas, and I don't know, I kept thinking about a Victrola and just kind of like how to modernize that, and created that little like boombox thing. And then I'm trying to always like do different shit for each cover, and just try to add different elements that I don't normally do. So like I used construction paper for a lot of those like colored squiggles. I just cut like random ass shapes out and scanned all those, and then just kind of came up with the idea that like they were coming out of this thing. And I'm a fan. I love that cover. I think it's a pretty.
It's very unique. And like, dude, like, is that picture of Stephen Colbert holding that album real?
Yeah, it is. Right. It does look fake, doesn't it?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I see people fucking with me all the time, my friends on Instagram and stuff. And like, I saw it on your Instagram, but it wasn't like the first picture of whatever post you put out there. So I know.
It looks weird too, because it's like a screenshot of the video, but no, that's real.
Dude, you have Stephen Colbert holding your fucking design. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's on viral too.
Yeah. That was cool. I just got an email from their label person the one morning. She was like, "Your artwork's on Stephen Colbert," and I was like, "Wow."
Say what?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Congrats.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
All right, so we just touched on a bunch of really great artists, and again, you've only been at this, like you said, for a couple of years, man, and you've hit some great albums. But something that, again, maybe come across you, I guess, in the past year or so was the stuff you did for Atlanta for FX.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about that, like how that became a thing and how they used your artwork to promote basically that season 3, was it?
Season 3, yeah. The one thing I'll say, and this probably goes for like every story that I could tell you, like, and you said it earlier, the only reason I've been able to do these things is because I've known great people and just like been fortunate enough to like get a shot, right? So try to follow me here. Joe Cavalick from Caamp, his sister, Marissa, older, she lives out here in LA. Her husband His name is Chase, one of the best photographers that I've ever seen. I'll send you his stuff.
Yeah, please do.
He's a freelance photographer, but his main client is FX. So he shoots like, he does like the social media side, but he shoots like all of their shows, does promo for all of their stuff, and has been working there for like 10 years. But he's recently started to like kind of get some footing there where like he could come up with ideas and like pitch certain concepts for certain shows and stuff like that. And it really just like lives on social media. And so they were like, okay, come up with a concept. And he was like, he pitched me to do the Atlanta stuff. And Atlanta season 3 was what it was for. And they were like, I don't know if they really got it at first, because I don't know what he said them, but like, I think they were like, we'll see. And he had like photos from season 2 or season 1, whatever it was. And so he gave them to me and was like, make some proof of concepts just to like sell the idea. So I went and I made like 3 pieces, kind of similar to like what it looks like now, a little different, but like a lot crazier almost. And I made 3 different pieces, and like the one with Lakeith was really cool. He had like some money, and there was like butterfly. I put a butterfly in his blunt and like all this weird, just really shit. And they were like, all right, he can do it. So something happened where he wasn't able to shoot those photos for some reason. And so they gave me like a big thing of folders, and they were like, they told me like, do whatever you want to do. And so I picked I picked one of each, and was got free reign of it. They didn't tell me much. They did tell me though, like this season had to do with Europe. So I just figured, I was like, I'm just put each of them in different cities. And I was actually thinking about it today. They kept saying like full creative freedom. And I was like, are you sure? Like, I know it's a TV show, like a lot of my shit's got like weird drugs in it or like and they were like, yeah. So I'll tell you a funny story. When I did the Donald one, they let me, like I said, they let me pick the photos, because I was really adamant on like they have to be positioned a certain way, because they wanted to do them where the white border was, right? So things were coming out. So I was like, they have to like, you can't just give me a person that's like standing like this. It's not going to work. We need more like horizontal space. So they're like, okay, pick the photos. So I picked this, like probably the one that like everyone would have put last, this like bizarre photo of Donald Glover. He had his hand like this, like it was so weird. Like I thought it was like the coolest photo. So I chose that one and like did a bunch of stuff. And like the first draft looked somewhat similar to the one that came out, but like it had like a ton of weed in the background, and there was like more mushrooms. And then like where his hand was like that, I put like pills, like he was throwing pills, and like like I thought was like like, the rave scene out there, like he's, tossing like ecstasy or something like that. And my buddy was like, dude, we gotta like tone this down just a little bit. So then like I had to take some stuff out, and then I sent it to him, and they were like, Donald, because it's his show, he is the only one that has like kill rights on like photos and stuff like that. So a lot of those actors, like they can kind of use whatever photos they shoot, but Donald was like, no, on that photo. So I had to go back and pick the one that you see now, which still works. But I had to take out a lot of like the weed, and like, because I didn't realize too that like for those like things that are connected to TV, it's like they have to go through like so many more hoops to get approved, one being standards and practices. And like they were like, first round, they were just like, dude, none of this works. And I was like, I pushed back on a lot of the stuff. We kept the mushrooms, which I'm glad they let me keep the mushrooms, because I would have been pissed if
that's all natural, baby. They can't say anything about that.
Yeah,
they're just shiitakes.
Yeah, right. And I like, there's some too where like there's a couple ones where like I hid some shit in the background of like 2 of them. So I got some stuff in there.
Club, you got me there. It's just shiitakes. That's fucking hilarious. Well, dude, that's awesome. Like I said, I saw that just blow up. I remember like I feel like I followed you at the time, but like because they had like a release party for that season, and I saw like all your artwork at like the
That
event
was
as well.
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't really know that wasn't like part of the plan originally. But when I sent them back to them, they I don't know how to say this without sound I don't know how to say this without sounding like a douche, but they they liked them and they pushed them up the chain of command. And so somebody had the idea, it was like, we should do premiere artwork with this. So then they kind of, we kind of like opened them up a little bit, and they're kind of all over the premiere, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have got invited, but okay.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's all right. No, that was cool as hell, man.
Yeah.
So like with you diving into like just the whole collage and getting into like visual art and stuff, are there any like inspirations or people you really hold to the high standard of artwork that you like that they do?
Yeah. A lot of people. I mean, the one that I always shout out is Dewey Saunders. I mean, like to me, he's like an OG for a lot of reasons. One, just his style of artwork is inspiring and did a lot for me, but also too, just like the way he puts on people and supports his community out here is like, that's a big one. Magritte, I think is how you would say it. It's like an old surrealist artist. A lot of like, get a lot of inspiration from that. Like just with like clouds and like covering faces and stuff like that. I kind of like to distort faces and stuff like that. So I'm inspired by that. And I'm inspired by like a lot of my musician friends, which to me, like, doesn't necessarily correlate, but it's like, I'm just, I don't know. I'm inspired by like, just the way they can conceptualize their music and like, take things from like, I think about it the same way as like the way I can just cut a car out and then it turns into something else is the same way that like, they play a chord and then you have like a big song. So it's like, I'm very influenced by like a lot of my musician friends. Pretty much all the people that we talked about are kind of like my influences.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I mean, art is art at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how you portray it or where it starts or where it ends, but it's a creative process. And I
any
completely
process is a process,
Yeah, true. You got to take it your own way and figure out how to fucking do it and avoid that damn procrastination.
Yeah. Excuse me. You play, right?
Yeah, man. I play guitar, sing. I played in a couple of bands, but I'm putting together a solo album right now, actually, with 8 songs. It'll be under Spruce. It's at spruce.tunes if you want to check it out on Insta.
Yeah, I was checking that out today. Actually, that's how I saw about that.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I played out a lot in like before the pandemic with the band. I want to say a lot, but a couple of times. But I've been a little bitch. Again, procrastination has held me back. But the last 3 weeks, I've made it out to an open mic night every week, and I'm gonna make sure that I do it. And hopefully get a band together soon. But working on a solo project right now that I'm really proud of, and I'm gonna see it all the way through.
What do you think about the open mics?
Dude, they're incredible for a lot of reasons. One is just like, there's no pressure. No one's like out there to see you. Usually the people who are there are just going to perform right after you. So it's great practice. And then honestly, the people that you meet, it's a really just community thing where you get to know not even just the people playing, but the bartenders, the people who host it. And then there are some people who honestly go out there and see. So I've met some really cool people already. And it's just nice for me because I'd never played by myself before. It was just with a band. So like going out there either with an acoustic, or I played with my buddy on electric last week, and man, it's been really awesome. I mean, I miss the stage so fucking much, so it was nice to be able to do it.
A lot of respect to that, man. Anybody that goes and puts themselves out there like that is got a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, exactly. And like I've seen, like, it just shows me how there's just great music everywhere, and it's just about getting the people to get out there and just show that they have it.
Yeah, there's great art everywhere.
It's great. All right, let's keep rolling on music, man.
Yeah.
What music do you like to listen to? What are some playlists or artists you just have found yourself going back to over the many years, or new music that you have found yourself listening to?
Yeah. I mean, like I got a lot of like staples. A lot of my staples are like hip hop things, you know, like
Let it rip.
Wiz and Currency stuff is like, you know, those are two of my favorites forever. You know, love Mac. Have a big, you know, appreciation for like classic rock and, you know, the stereotypical Eagles and all those people. But recently I've been like, not recently, over the past 6-7 years, been just expanding into different genres and stuff like that. And one I've been listening to a lot is Duran Jones and the Indications. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I've definitely heard of them, but have not dove in.
Yeah, like a new school, like R&B soul kind of band. It's really, they're really nice. Yeah. Been listening to them. I found this band the other day. I can't I don't know how to I want to say they go by they. I think they're called Sister Ray, Ray.
Okay.
And they've got this album called Communion. It's like the first album they put out this year. And it's like, I was blown away by it. Like the songwriting on it was just like phenomenal. I really was like, I sent it to like a bunch of people. I was like, this album's sick. You got to listen to this album.
Sister Ray Communion.
Yeah, I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, it's a rad album. Also like the new Joey Badass album. I've been fucking with that a lot.
I forgot about that guy. I haven't listened to that guy.
Yeah, right. It's been a long time since he's put out music. He just put out one though. It depends on the day. I'll go from soul one day to just like, you know, Future the next day, and then back to classic rock, and then, you know, trying to just kind of invite everything in, because I think too, like, listening to other genres is a good way to, like, you know, work in other genres too, you know, have clarity with like what's going on in certain genres. And, you know, like, I think when I got into this, I was always like, I want to do hip hop stuff, and I've never really done hip hop stuff. So it's like, you know, it's like trying to expand like just everything that I listen to.
Very nice.
What about you guys? What do you guys listen to?
You see, we always get this question.
I know. You guys listen to everything.
Well, I mean, my answer is always the same, because like, unless like I'm going out of my way to like listen to like a song that's on my mind, I will like, again, it's called the Stampede Shuffle. Club and I started it about a year ago, but I'll just shuffle that bitch and it'll give me the most, from elevator music to hip hop, rap to 70s rock, like, and everything in between. So yeah, just whatever the Stampede Shuffle gives me is what I'm listening to nowadays. I have I keep going back though to this band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is a band out of
the Lizard Wizard.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They are from Australia, and Cup and I saw them in May up here in Cleveland, and like, I don't even know how to explain like what we heard or what kind of music it was. It was like fucking insane. They have an album called Omnium Gatherum, and it's their like 22nd studio album. And right.
They've only been around for like 10 years.
Yeah, dude. They put out like seven
albums.
7 albums in 1 year, I think they did a couple years ago.
Shit.
Yeah, like what? But yeah, so this new album again, Omnium Gatherum, like, it has just hard hitting like scream, and then it has just like rap to I'm going through, like, I don't even know, go listen to it.
I'll have to listen to that. Whoa, hold on, I gotta let my dog out of this room real quick. She's annoying me. I got another one for you though.
Hell yeah,
go.
Shout out to the pup.
Have you guys heard of Parcels?
I have not.
Dude, check out Parcels. I want to say they're from Australia or New Zealand too. There's something.
Okay.
They're like a kind of like a funky jam. They're sick, dude.
That's right up my alley.
They're sick. I think you guys will like them. They're
Parcels.
Sick. Yeah.
And
trying to think what else. I also try to listen to Cleveland people too. That's the other thing too, is like spend a lot of time like wanting to get away from Cleveland, and I want to like kind of reemerge back somehow in a way that's like meaningful.
Dude, it is unreal. I was just talking about this to my friend, how like I've never lived outside of Ohio. Went to OU, came right back to Cleveland, but like I'm like, damn, like, you know, I feel like I like have to experience something. But now all of my friends that left after college are like finding their way back, or like trying to find their way back, and I'm just like, fuck, like, should I leave now?
Right. I know, dude. I know. I see the same thing too, and it's like, you know, I wanna. There's times where I'm like, fuck, should I just do it? But it's like, I can't. I don't want to. I like don't want to do it enough. But like, I do miss it. I miss a lot of things about it, and I like want it. That's why I want to like make a push to like be more involved in like the art community there. Like, just have reasons to come back and like, you know, do a show somewhere. Or like, you know, just be kind of, you know,
Dude,
involved.
and I mean, art's everywhere in Cleveland. Like we've talked
Yeah.
about this a couple of times. We've had obviously a handful of Cleveland artists on, or just people involved in the Cleveland scene. But I mean, it just kind of feels like we keep saying like Renaissance, but like everyone, like there's just a lot of good music in this area.
There's a lot of good art and music in Ohio in general. I mean, like even Columbus. Columbus is like, I think they should do a documentary on the music scene in Columbus. I think that would be like one of the craziest like people don't even know what's going down in Columbus. Right
Yeah,
now.
100% agree.
It's fucking wild, dude. It's like you would think it's LA, you know. It's like there's a lot of like
21 Pilots just came out of Columbus.
yeah. Dude, there's so many. And there's
Like what are some in Columbus, honestly, that like do anything come to mind for you?
So like ones that have blown up, or like you're saying like
just in up and coming, or
like,
ones
it's all kind of like, you know, like obviously Caamp, but there's a guy, Parker Lewis, who's just like, I did some of his stuff too. He's fucking awesome. He's got a phenomenal voice. El Camino Acid is a like sick punk.
Is that Evan's band as well? Like, is Evan a part of that? And then who's the guy he's with in that? Because I think they went to OU as well, or performed at OU. Fuck, I can't remember their name.
What are you saying?
Like, isn't it like the other people in that band?
I thought Henry went to OU too.
He might have. I don't know. I might be thinking of someone completely different, but I know there was just some band that they would like play with all the time, or I don't know if Evan was a part of. But anyway, keep going, keep naming some, because I'm writing. Because
Speaking Sons is a great one. Little Miami is one. The coolest thing too is like this is, I think this is like the coolest thing. They're all friends, and they all like play in each other's things. So it's like, if you think about it, like, you know, Caamp is the four guys, you know, and then El Camino Acid is Evan's band, but Henry's in there. Henry plays the drums for Caamp.
Okay.
That are in El Camino Acid playing Speaking Sons. Some of the guys, and then one of the guys in Speaking Sons is Little Miami. It's like everybody's just like, and it's like the coolest thing ever. And it's like, just these guys are just like phenomenal musicians, you know, and they live and breathe it, and it's like the coolest. I always think they should do a documentary on it. It's like the coolest thing.
Hey, never say never.
Yeah,
Start it up.
Right.
Well, fuck yeah, man. That is awesome. That like honestly, just hearing like, so what are plans coming up? Do you have any plans for the rest of like 2022? Anything you can reveal for us? That
the main plan right now is I'm going to Hawaii in 2 weeks. So
sheesh. What island?
I'm going to Maui.
Oh,
Okay.
dude,
Yeah.
That's gonna be an incredible experience.
Dude, it's like, I don't want to put too much pressure on it, but I keep saying it's gonna be life changing, and I hope it is, man. I mean, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii, and like, it's just me and my homeboy, and we planned this whole thing out, and then I got let go, and I was like, I don't know if I should like spend the money and do this. My mom's like, you need to go, you got to go. She said she's pushed me to do it, and it's like, I'm just like, we're staying for like 11 days too, so I'm just like, I'm so excited about it. But in terms of like work, I'm I have nothing really concrete right now. That's kind of the beauty and the scare of it. Hold on, this fucking dog. What's it?
What's the pup's name?
My name's Queen.
Queen, can we get a quote?
Can we get a Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia?
Little. I actually got her at OU. Funny enough.
No way.
Senior year, yeah. I got her.
She's a killer queen.
Yeah. But back to your question, nothing. I really have nothing concrete right now. I'm talking to a couple people trying to do a couple other things. I want to do another FX thing this year. I want to do like more albums. I want to do more packaging. So I want to do like, vinyls and CDs, and I like trying to do the whole thing rather than just an album cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like because I want to work on like conceptualizing and like taking idea and expanding the whole world of it and everything. So I'm talking to a couple of people trying to do a couple of things right now, but we have nothing concrete right now, which
Dude, I love the way you just phrased the doing like the full thing, like with like vinyls and everything. I mean, that's half the reason why this thing is named Vinyl Stallions, is just the appreciation for like, this is how this thing is supposed to be listened to in this order, and everything that's inside of this package is like there on purpose.
Yes.
And
it's just part of the whole experience. And it, like, even though it might not necessarily have to do with the music, like it can still enhance the music. Like, I don't know, at least for me, when I'm listening to a vinyl, that's like half the fun is I'm spending like the whole first side of the disc just tearing through the art and like reading the booklet that's in there if it has one.
I love that you say that, because like there's a lot of people in music like are like that, right? But like people that are just casual music listeners, which is fine, like don't understand that or don't spend the time. And like I'm the same way, dude. I'm reading the credits, I'm reading who did what, I'm looking at like the little things, and then like pulling it back and trying to understand like how this like fits in the whole world of like what you're listening to. And like I think people that like, that's why I have a lot of appreciation for like people that do this and do this very well, because it's like it's hard enough to come up with a concept, and it's harder to like expand the whole thing, not just like not just through singles or vinyls or CDs, but like tour merchandise, backdrop on the tour. Like it's crazy, like how deep this stuff can go. And like when one person's kind of running the show, it's like it's very impressive to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you guys both collect vinyl? No, Club's got a bunch.
Oh, Club is an animal, man. I think Club's been there like 4 times in the past 5 days at the vinyl store.
I love it.
I can't help it.
I love it. How do you pick records?
Just artists I like usually, because I don't know. I happen to just like a lot of artists with enormous discographies. Like I don't know, Van Morrison, he's one of my favorite. He's got like 42 studio albums. Santana's got like 26. Jethro Tull's got over 20. Chicago's got over 20. So it's like you just have a lot of artists to like chip away at. And
have you ever like bought vinyl off of just like how it looked?
I have a story.
Let's hear it.
Oh my God. So
yes, to answer your question.
There's this album I found at my record store earlier this year called Sonic Boom.
Okay.
The artist was named Sonic Boom, and the album name was All Things Are Created Equal. And dude, like I'll send you the album after it. It was called like psychedelic space
experimental space rock.
Experimental space rock. And so Club and I started doing this thing recently this year where we combine our vinyl collections, and we'll just pick a Saturday and like draw them out of a hat and listen to like 6 in a row, and like we won't know exactly like which one we get obviously. And the first one we ever did in March, we fucking pulled this album that I got the day before, and dude, like it it didn't make sense. Like it was the first time where I was like, I'm listening to robot noises and like just it was insane.
Get this too. So because we didn't know the artist at all, we didn't know what it was supposed to sound like. We listened to the whole thing on the wrong speed. Because the album we listened to after was Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. And so immediately the first song, Custard Pie, sounded way off. And we were like, wait, it's on the wrong speed. And then we just realized we listened to the whole last album at the wrong speed.
Holy shit, dude. That's funny shit. That's really
yeah, like Robert Plant sounded like Elvin and the Chipmunks as soon as we start that.
Well, no wonder why it didn't make any sense then.
No, dude, we went back and I promise, like, I'm gonna send you this, and like the album artwork is fucking crazy. Like that's what drew me in, and oh my god, like it was bonkers. But so yes, to answer your question, I have bought it strictly on looks.
Man, I love that.
That's funny. All right, so we have the encore question, Austin.
Yeah,
it's one we ask every guest, and I'm gonna let Klepp take it from here, though.
All right.
It's a very simple question. What is the most memorable thing you've ever seen at a live show?
Whoa.
And to elaborate, it could be something memorable that you're like, oh, this was a great experience, but like unique, strange, bizarre, and it could have happened to like the artist, or it could have happened to you, or it could have happened to someone else in the crowd. So anything along those lines.
Oh man. I wish I had like a bad funny story, but I don't. I think there's kind of like two that come to mind.
Okay.
Just like pure kind of like fandom things. One time when I first moved out here, I went to this, it was like a festival called Smokers Club or Smokers Fest or something along those lines. And it was like fucking it was all rap, and it was like fucking everybody I wanted to see like in one day. But the headline for the first day was Wiz, and he was playing Cushion OJ for the first time ever, front to back. And it was like, it's one of my favorite album mixtapes of all time. Like that, not a song on there that doesn't hit.
And you got the full album experience live.
Yeah.
That's
and it was
insane.
like, dude, and it was like, it was one of my first like experiences to California too. So it was like everybody had an ounce of weed on them, and like there were people in this festival that had full on glass bongs, and I'm just like,
where am I?
Am
I in heaven?
Yeah, that was cool. And then another just like cool moment was I was with the Caamp Boys the first time they played at Red Rocks.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Then they were opening at the time too. They opened for a band called Rainbow Kitten Surprise, who, if you guys don't know, Rainbow Kitten.
Dude, I was just telling Klepp last podcast we had on about them.
Yeah.
Like I've listened to a couple of their studio albums, but like their live performances on YouTube is what draws me in.
Oh.
Like they're electric.
That was really the first time I'd like seen them, heard of them, and I was like absolutely blown away by their performance. And like they had this like insane like backdrop of these lights, and it was the trippiest thing. But it was like I was blown away by the performance. I couldn't believe that. I just had never really seen a show like that. I was really and Red Rocks too is just like unbelievable. But to see the boys like do that was like really fucking cool.
Nah, that is a band that is, like I said, electric. I've never seen them live, but I hope they come through soon.
Have you guys been to Red Rocks?
No,
it's a bucket list item for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you a cool story too. When I went there, it's the only time I've been there. I think I'm gonna go back this year, but I went like early with them, so I was just like hanging out all day. We were just fucking around, and backstage they have like all the hallways like are just like big, really like well shot photos of everybody that's like ever played there. So you can spend the whole day just like looking at like anybody that you could name just like perform there.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And that was also the first time I had mahi, the fish.
Ooh,
they served like a bunch of food in the back, and it was like gourmet, like
Yeah.
Unbelievable food. It was sick. It was a cool experience.
Dude, that's badass. Like experience that whole backstage as well.
Yeah.
Was that your first time at Red Rocks?
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking sick.
Yeah. It was really cool. That place is really, really incredible and like well known for good reason, you know. Best place to see a show, hands down.
I love it. Club and I will
Gotta
make the
get
journey
out
out there.
there.
We'll make the journey soon.
Yeah. Hey, if you do, let me know. I'll meet you down there.
Dude, absolutely, man.
Oh yeah.
And all around, it was just a pleasure talking with you. And if I ever make it out to LA or shit, whenever if you come back for the holidays, would love to meet up at Stone Mad, located in Gordon Square. Again, Bilani owns it, and he is the man. One of the coolest bars in Cleveland. So
yeah, best bar in Cleveland, man. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. This was really fun. Appreciate the interest and just in my little world. So thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely,
You're very generous with your time.
Yeah. Again, Austin Sterpka. You can follow him at Dr.Sterp. He has a website where he's selling some of his art, and that is austinsterpka.com. Sterp, am I missing anything else?
You nailed it, bro.
I love it. Well, hey, you can check us out at Vinyl Stallions on Instagram. It's all over all over anywhere you can listen to a podcast. But again, man, Austin, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man, and hopefully we'll link up here soon.
You can count on it. All right. Well, my name is Spruce.
I'm Clep.
And this has been another episode of Vinyl Stallion.